students, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to see the problems on effect of conjugation and steric hindrance on the molecules in UV spectroscopy, UV visible spectroscopy, and this is a part 5. So previous part 1 to 4 you can see based on the problems on lambda max calculation for dienes, polyenes, alpha beta unsaturated compounds, and the effect of solvent polarity and electronic transitions. So these all series which you are seeing on UV visible, especially for MSc third semester students and BSc fifth semester students. If you haven't subscribed my channel, do subscribe it and share it with your friends so that they will also avail this facility where they will be having the opportunity to solve multiple problems on the same concept to clear the concept and hold on the concept. Fine. So let's begin. Effect of conjugation. So we'll be seeing this effect by using one problem. Normally what happens, the thumb rule is in UV spectroscopy, as the conjugation increases, the wavelength increases. Okay, so we need to find why this happens. Like if you go from this problem, if you notice, butadiene exhibit on a higher value lambda max as compared to the ethylene. Okay, for pi to pi star transition. So two things. First of all, UV spectroscopy is gives us the two important information. One is the lambda max value, the wavelength of maxima. Another one is the intensity or molar absorptivity. Okay, or molar absorptivity maxima. These two important information we get it from UV. And especially for two important transition, one is the pi to pi star transition, suggests the presence of unsaturation. Another one is N to pi star transition, suggests the presence of heteroatom. So since we're talking about pi to pi star, because here you don't have any heteroatom in butadiene, so we will see what happens. So first, so we'll draw, you can see here the ethylene molecule, and we are seeing this justification by using the energy level diagram. And we can notice in ethene only one pi bond is there. It means total 2 electrons are there in pi bond. And pi, you have one is pi which is bonding orbital, is another pi star which is anti-bonding orbital, right? And you can see here labeling HOMO and LUMO. HOMO is the highest occupied molecular orbital. So as you can see here, 2 electrons are present. So for ethene, pi is the HOMO here, and lowest unoccupied molecular orbital, that is LUMO, where you don't have any electron present here. So lowest unoccupied orbital, 2 orbitals are there. Pi orbital is bonding and anti-bonding. So the transition will take place from here, pi to pi star transition, and we will get the lambda max value, which we will see. Now we'll see what happens in case of butadiene, where you have additional one double bond. So in that case, total how many electrons will be there? 4 pi electrons will be there. Now 2 pi bonds means you have 2 bonding orbital and 2 anti-bonding orbital. 4 pi electrons will occupy the ground state in bonding orbital. Now here in this case, the highest occupied is pi 2 and the lowest unoccupied is pi 2 star. So the transition will take place from pi 2 to pi 2 star in case of butadiene. Now what is the difference in the two energy level diagram? You can see here in the first case in ethene, the energy gap between pi to pi star transition is high. As compared to butadiene, the difference between pi to pi 2 star between HOMO LUMO is less. So we know the energy is inversely proportional to the wavelength. So as energy decreases, wavelength increases, because we know E is equal to Hc over lambda. So E is inversely proportional. E is decreasing in case of butadiene. Therefore, the lambda max value will be high. So you can see the data here. For ethene, lambda max value we get it for 171 nanometer, and the molar absorptivity, or you can say the intensity, is 15,530. And this also gives us a very important information that if you have this absolute max value more than 10 to the power 4, if you have more than 10 to the power 4 value, it suggests the transition is allowed transition. Okay, what do you mean by allowed transition? means it is between the same orbital. Like here it is pi to pi star, both are same orbital. It's not sigma to pi, it's not n to pi. N is different orbital, sigma is different orbital. So pi to pi star, same orbital, it is allowed transition, and therefore the intensity is high here. Now, if you compare the data for butadiene, the lambda max value, you can notice here from ethene 171 to 217. Okay, so the shift is called bathochromic shift because the lambda max value is increased here. Okay, so the lambda max value is increased high because the energy gap between HOMO-LUMO is decreased as it is inversely proportional. So the wavelength is high here with compared to ethene. And if you see the molar absorptivity value, which is 21,000, again it is increased, right? From 15,530 to 21,000. So on increasing the conjugation, the lambda max value increases as well as the intensity increases. Intensity is always actually governed by the number of molecules, and as you can notice, the distance between pi to star is less, more number of molecules can reach to LUMO, that is LUMO, right? More number of molecules can reach, the distance is less here as compared to ethene where the distance is slightly high, right? So therefore the intensity increases in case of butadiene because more number of molecules are reaching to the LUMO. Fine. Again, it is 10 to the power 4, more than 10 to the power 4. So it is a allowed transition. Fine. And this is a justification for the problem. You can say in butadiene, the distance between HOMO and LUMO decreases. Therefore, the energy gap decreases. So the wavelength increases and intensity increases. So this is the justification and relationship you can notice. The thumb rule is as conjugation increases, the wavelength also increases. If they ask this type of question, you can justify by using the energy level diagram. Now next problem, why K band of benzene appears at lambda max value 204 nanometer, benzoic acid it is 230 nanometer, and cinnamic acid at 273 nanometer. For pi to pi star transition, explain. So now I assume that you can answer very well. You should know the structure of benzene, then benzoic acid, you have additional COOH bond, and then cinnamic acid, right? So if you see the structure for all three, right, this is the structure. You can notice what is happening from benzene to benzoic acid. You have additional conjugation present here. Now carbonyl bond of this acid is involved in conjugation. So compared to benzene, you have extended conjugation in benzoic acid. So from 204 to 230, they are talking about K band, which is applicable for pi to pi star transition, right? Now again, in case of cinnamic acid, along with this carbonyl, you have one more additional double bond. So as compared to benzoic acid, additional conjugation or extended conjugation is present in cinnamic acid. Therefore, again, you can notice the bathochromic shift from 230 to 273 nanometer. Okay. So what is bathochromic shift? As the lambda value shift increases, okay, lambda max value increases, we call it bathochromic shift or red shift. Okay, increasing the lambda max value, and this is happening again. This is the case of extension of conjugation, right? More conjugation of benzene, the K band moves to the longer of the wavelength. Same energy level diagram you can use to explain it and justify your answer. Now this is a practice question. Again, they have given you the K band of benzene at lambda max. Naphthalene again 286 nanometer. For anthracene, the lambda max value is 375 nanometer for pi to pi star transition. You can notice the pattern. Benzene, you have a single ring. Naphthalene, you have 2 aromatic ring. Anthracene, you have 3 aromatic ring. So I hope you got the clue. The conjugation is increasing in each case, and therefore the lambda max value is increasing, means the bathochromic shift. You can use the same explanation to justify it. This is another question, practice. Why naphthacene absorbs light in visible region while benzene show absorption at 204 nanometer in UV region? Naphthacene having 4 aromatic rings, right? So compared to naphthalene, the conjugation is more extended, 375 till 400 nanometer. You have UV range, okay, from 200 to 400 nanometer, near UV range, and from 400 to 800 nanometer, it is for visible region. So naphthazene is extended one more ring as compared to anthracene. So it will absorb between somewhere 400 to 600 nanometer, means it will show color in visible region. And while benzene, you have 204 nanometer, which they are talking about K band. You can justify your answer by using the same explanation. As the conjugation increases, the K band moves to the longer wavelength. This is the same case because we are talking about the multiple problems on conjugation. So we'll be discussing the problems related to conjugation. Which out of benzene usually it is colorless because it is in UV region. Quinone is yellow, has more easily promoted electrons. So we know colorless and yellow, right? Yellow means it is absorbing in visible region. The wavelength is high, obviously, for quinone. Okay, higher wavelength means the more easily promoted electron should be in case of quinone. The structure of benzene, you know, quinone is you are having two carbonyl group at para position, and it exists in slightly basic medium with the carbanion formation. And you can see in this structure you have the electrons easily available, which can involve in the electronic transition easily as compared to this form. Okay, so electrons are easily available in case of quinone for electronic transition, therefore it requires less energy, means the wavelength will be high, and so it absorbs in the visible region, gives the yellow color. Same explanation, as conjugation increases, lambda max value increases to visible region. All these problems which we are discussing is important for MSc final year student, third semester students, BSc fifth semester students, and the problems which we are talking about is important for any competitive exam like you are looking for after your MSc, or BSc like BSc if you are looking for IIT JAM, or after MSc if you are talking about CSIR or GATE exam or any other entrance exam. All these problems are very important. You should know the concept. This is again the practice problem. You have to solve it. Which of the following molecule would you expect absorb at a longer wavelength in UV region of the electromagnetic spectrum? Answer. We have to observe the molecule very closely, okay, and see which molecule will absorb at a higher lambda max value. Since both are having double bond only, they are talking about pi to pi star transition, and we know pi to pi star transition, what are the factors involved here? If the conjugation will be high, the wavelength will be high, right? So they are talking about which molecule will absorb at longer wavelength, means which molecule out of these two have the extension of conjugation. So that you have to notice, right? Here all these double bonds are in conjugation. Okay, so extension of conjugation are there, 5 double bond. While if you notice the B structure, the conjugation is restricted to 3 double bond only. Now you have sigma and sigma sigma bond. While for extended of conjugation, you should have double bond, sigma bond, double bond, sigma bond. So this is not applicable in case of B. Okay, while in case of A, all are alternative bond, double bond, sigma bond, double bond, sigma bond, double bond, sigma bond, like that. So the extension of conjugation is present here. So the answer is your A will be having higher lambda max value. Now this problem where the benzene is substituted by simple alkyl groups, you can notice here the absorption are shifted slightly to longer wavelength, which you can notice in the data, 254, 261 for toluene, 272 for pyridine substituted, and 282 where you have one extended conjugation, right? Now you have to justify why this is happening. So far we knew that the pi bond is involved in extension of conjugation, so it increases the wavelength. Therefore you can justify from 254 to 282 easily. Now what is happening in case of toluene and this molecule where you don't have, right, where you don't have the double bond in extension. Now if you notice and you know the effect of hyperconjugation, okay, this is again causing the small bathochromic shift between the alkyl sigma bond. Okay, there are 3 sigma bond involved here in CH3, CH, CH, CH. So the sigma bond electron participate in conjugation or in resonance. Okay, so that is the effect of hyperconjugation. The effect is less than the resonance, because in resonance the pi bonds are involved, which are loosely bonded and easily donates its electrons, so the stronger, faster process as compared to the sigma bond. Effect is weak, therefore the small bathochromic shift you are seeing here, but it shows the bathochromic shift. So the answer is with you because of the effect of hyperconjugation, and you can explain the sigma electrons of each CH bond present in CH3 will participate in the conjugation. Therefore, increases the wavelength of maxima. So you can note as the hyperconjugation increases, resonance increases, wavelength increases. We call it bathochromic or redshift. So this you can make a note and explain your answer if you get such kind of problems. Okay, now the next problem is why paramethoxyaniline absorbs at higher lambda max value when compared to anisole. So for this problem, you should know how to draw the structure first, right? Paramethoxyaniline. All of you are familiar with the structure of aniline, C6H5NH2. Paramethoxy means at para position you have OCH3. What is anisole? Anisole is on aromatic ring you have OCH3 group. Now they have given you these two molecules and they are saying that the first molecule absorbs at higher lambda max value as compared to the second one. So we know that double bond or covalently bonded groups are called chromophoric group, while the lone pair bearing groups are called oxochrome. And oxochrome increases the intensity of the chromophoric group, okay, and so therefore increases the wavelength. In case of anisole, you have only one oxochromic group, while in case of NH2, in this you have two oxochromic group, NH2 and OCH3. Two oxochromic group are present, but moreover there is another explanation involved here, that if you notice nitrogen is less electronegative as compared to oxygen. So basically nitrogen will give its electron easily to resonate, okay, easily for conjugation, but as compared to oxygen. Therefore the electronic transitions are easy here, faster here, less energy is required, means the higher lambda max value will be there for this molecule paramethoxyaniline as compared to OCH3, that is anisole. So extension of conjugation again, you can explain 2-oxochrome, while there one and moreover you can use the effect of electronegativity as well, which I haven't mentioned here, but you can make a note of it, that nitrogen in case of 2-oxochromic group, nitrogen being less electronegative will require lesser energy to electronic transition, therefore the lambda will be high. Next problem, suggest a reason for indicated difference between the absorption maxima of ortho and para methyl acetophenone. So the acetophenone is C6H5COCH3. This is acetophenone. One case you have orthomethyl, in other case it is paramethyl. Now if you notice the lambda max value, for para it is 252 nanometer, while for ortho it is 243. Decrease in lambda max value, we call it hypsochromic shift. If the lambda max value decreases, it is called hypsochromic shift or blue shift, means the decrease in the wavelength. So why it is so? Moreover, if you notice the intensity, here 15,800, while here it is only 9,500. Intensity also decreases, right? So intensity decreases means hypochromic effect. Hyperchromic if the intensity increases, hyperchromic, okay. If the intensity decreases, hypochromic. For wavelength it is decreases means hypsochromic. So for this you have the justification, if you note the structure very carefully, that in this case the orthomethyl group will twist this carbonyl group out of conjugation, because it is three-dimensionally, the three hydrogens are causing the steric crowding, means the molecule will remain no longer planar molecule, means the coplanarity is lost for this molecule, and if the coplanarity is lost due to the presence of steric crowding, here the wavelength will be less. for effective overlap of conjugation. Okay, so for effective overlap of conjugation between the aromatic ring and the carbonyl, both should be in the same plane, right? Which is applicable in para. In para, there is no steric crowding, so it remain in the same plane. The carbonyl and the aromatic ring remain in the same plane, so the easily it is overlapping. Okay, means it is extended conjugation is present here, therefore it is absorbing at higher lambda max value as compared to this ortho substituted, where because of the steric crowding, the carbonyl group and the aromatic ring will not be in the same plane. Carbonyl group goes to the out of conjugation. With this, therefore the wavelength decreases comparatively, and so the intensity will also decrease because the extension of conjugation is not present due to loss of coplanarity in ortho substituted. So you can make a note here again, as a steric crowding increases, conjugation decreases, and so the wavelength decreases. We call it blue shift or hypsochromic shift, and similarly the intensity also decreases because loss of conjugation. Very important problem. Okay, now this is your practice question. Why nitrobenzene absorbs at 252 nanometer and the intensity is given to 8620, while the orthonitrotoluene absorbs at 250 nanometer with the mentioning 5950 molar absorptivity value. So you can see just now we have done similar kind of problem here. Okay, where nitrobenzene compared to orthonitro, it is slightly hypsochromic shift, you can notice, because of the steric crowding, loss of coplanarity, and the similarly the intensity is also decreased here. So you can use the same explanation and solve this problem. Para-nitroaniline exhibits in the K band a pronounced red shift which is not observed in ortho and meta isomer. Okay, so what is para-nitroaniline? Means at para position you have a nitro group. One side it is NH2. So aniline, all of you know, C6H5NH2, para position nitro group is there. Now if you see this structure, you can notice one side you have a electron donating group, while on the other side you have a electron withdrawing group. So if you have such kind of system where you have a complementary group present on the para position, you can notice there is an extension of conjugation present here. And because of this extension of conjugation, there is a pronounced red shift or bathochromic shift, means higher lambda max value as compared to the orthonitroaniline. At orthonitroaniline, you can see the extension of conjugation is not present here. The 2 double bond of the aromatic ring is not participating here. So, and moreover, you have a steric crowding here. Again, it will molecule will lose its planarity. So, the effective conjugation will not be there. Therefore, it absorbs at a slightly lesser wavelength. So you can notice two electronically complementary groups if it is present, means one is electron donating, other is electron withdrawing. Then it shows the pronounced red shift because of the presence of extension of conjugation. While this is not possible for ortho and meta isomer of aniline. One is a steric crowding. Due to it, it lost the planarity. So the loss of extension of conjugation is there. Therefore, the wavelength will be less here. Same explanation, conjugation increases, wavelength increases, and so it shows the bathochromic or red shift. Now, in case of if para-substituted groups are not complementary, this is again a note, where if both the groups are either electron withdrawing or electron donating, then this effect, the pronounced red shift won't be there, as you can see if it is complementary to each other. In this problem, you can see biphenyl shows the following UV spectra. Biphenyl is a planar molecule and K band is giving at 252 nanometer, and epsilon value, which is a molar absorptivity value, is 19,000, which says intensity is high and it is a allowed transition, means pi to pi star transition. We have pi orbitals here and extension of conjugation is present. Therefore, you have 252 nanometer for pi to pi star. While in case of 2,2-dimethyl derivative of it, the absorption pattern, so if you have 2,2-dimethyl of it substituted biphenyl, that shows the absorption pattern similar to the orthoxylene. Okay, orthoxylene, the lambda max value you can see 262 nanometer, slightly high than biphenyl, and the intensity is very less, 270. Means usually we get it for weak transitions, right? So why it is so? First of all, we'll draw the structure of 2,2-dimethyl. 2,2-dimethyl derivative means the two methyls are present at ortho position, and both are on the opposite side, because if you place on the same side means steric crowding will be there, the structure won't be stable. It has to twist or rotate the ring along with this sigma bond, and it will go on the other side. In this, this is a planar conformation, but methyl group, if the two molecules are in the same plane, will cause again, because of the rotation, the steric crowding will be there three-dimensionally, if you notice. So the structure will be slightly twisted. What do you mean by that? One ring is in a plane, the other ring is in non-planar. Okay, so one is in the plane and other is non-planar conformation. Okay, the ring is non-planar, means one is vertical ring, other is horizontal ring. In that case, the steric crowding won't be there, and there won't be any interaction between the two methyl group. So basically, if the two rings are not in the same plane, then the structure become more stable if it is substituted. Fine. So in this case, what happens? The planarity is lost as compared to this structure. Okay, and this is not existing. Okay, in case of disubstituted biphenyls, the molecule exists in the non-planar conformation, and if it is non-planar conformation means the effective conjugation will not be there, and therefore the wavelength of absorption will be less for this as compared to the normal. So you can see the methyl groups are ortho position. The molecule goes out of planarity, okay, coplanarity. Minimizing the resonance means effective conjugation won't be there, therefore decrease in the wavelength, and which is like the two molecules of orthoxylene. Now this problem, identify the geometric isomer or still being from their lambda max value. The data is given, one is 294, other is 274. Stilbene, first of all, if they don't give you the structure, you should know what is the structure of stilbene. So stilbene, you can notice it is having the two aromatic ring. So basically the ethylene is substituted both sides with the aromatic ring. So C6H5, CH, double bond CH, C6H5. Now two geometric isomers are possible. Either the two rings are on the same side, cis, or it may be on the opposite side, trans. How to identify based on the data which lambda max value is for cis and trans. Now if you notice the two structures, again you can see in the cis structure the two bulky groups are on the same side, causing the steric crowding, right? So the planarity will be lost here, molecule will not be planar as compared to this. Here you have the extension of conjugation is present here, right? In trans form, the extension of conjugation is present here. Therefore, the lambda max value will be high for trans as compared to the cis. You can notice the same steric strain is present in cis isomer, which prevents the complete coplanarity, means the planarity is lost here. Therefore, the conjugation will be less here compared to the trans isomer. Therefore, cis absorb at a shorter lambda max value as compared to the trans. So again, it is the effect of conjugation. So as the conjugation increases, the lambda max value increases. You can notice here that as a steric crowding increases, coplanarity decreases, therefore the conjugation decreases, and so you can say wavelength decreases. These all notes which I have made here, you can note it as a tricks, okay, which you simple statement for competitive those students. So these all notes are especially for those students who are in the appearing for any competition, where these small notes will help you a lot. Instead of solving everything, you just have to notice whether the steric crowding is present, whether the extension of conjugation is there or not, and then you can just finally conclude your answer in a very less time. I hope you enjoyed this journey of conjugation by using multiple problems, and you might have gained the knowledge on concept also. Hold on concept. You now, I assume that you can solve now any problem comes to you on conjugation. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe my channel, and happy learning. See you in the next video.